Oh, what was that? All right. So yesterday we went over accounting reports. So the top three that I want you to make sure that you know for sure is going to be the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and lastly the statement of cash flows. So make sure that you understand those three and what they do for your company. So again, the statement of this profit and loss allows you to measure how much profit you've made for your company. So again, it's going to be looking at all your total sales from your company, and it's going to go against all of your expenses that you've done for the company.
Excuse me, Lynn. I don't know if this
May
is me
I
or not, but
know
I'm just seeing a letter J on the screen.
a letter J? So you're gonna have to click my name.
I'm clicked on Spotlight.
Okay. Okay, for you, you're doing spotlight. Okay, so that means whoever is,
Talking.
yeah, whoever is talking usually would indicate why you would be
Am
seeing
I
the
the only
screen.
one seeing the J on
You could,
this?
yeah, you might have to switch to layout form.
Yeah, I changed my layout to Spotlight. Okay, maybe if I go to side, I'm still seeing. Oh, there we go. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry about that. Now I
No,
can see
no,
it.
no, no worries. Okay, so I'm on the wrong form, but yes. So we talked about um, the profit and loss, which allows you to measure whether your company is making a profit or whether it's making a loss. So again, very important that you know that because that is a perfect measurement of how you can see how your company is doing. Okay. And yes, making sure that all of your expenses, like making sure that they're covered. Okay. Next, we're going to be the second thing that we looked at was our balance sheet, which is going to be reflectant of our accounting equation, which is assets equals liabilities plus your equity. So this one is actually going to measure the accuracy of your accounting and making sure that all of your assets does equal the total of liabilities, which is the thing that you owe, and it also reflects the value of your company. Okay. And then lastly, we talked about the statement of cash flows. So what it is it actually is measuring the actual cash that is flowing into the company and how much cash is actually flowing out of your company. Pretty straightforward. It's taking your accrual accounts and it's switching it into cash form. Okay. So that is those three that we just looked at today. I mean, yesterday. So there are a couple other forms that I do want you to look at just because it actually helps you and it's part of um, the accounting reports. But remember, there are beyond a lot of other accounting reports out there. But these are the primary three. So the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the statement of cash flows. So the ones I'm going to show you kind of relate, but they are something that you definitely want to be able to look into. So for example, here I want to be looking into our general ledger. Um, our general ledger. So here I've already uploaded and got my QuickBooks started already. This is where I left off yesterday. So again, it says to go to reports, and it says to go to accounting and tax. So let me see if I can find it here. Accounting and accounting and taxes right here. And if I pull up here, I see my trial balance and I see my general ledger. So again, you can also see your journal here as well. Again, I will talk about that when we move into chapter 13 because the journal is actually something that you need to use in order to do your adjustments. But other than that, yes, you could see a bunch of other things too that is available to you. But for this case, I just want to show you where the general ledger is. Okay? So if I populate that and I go ahead and edit my window here. So I'm going to make this January of 2019. And I'm going to make sure it ends January 31st. I think that was our scope here. 31st. Okay, and if I do that, I always have to click the refresh button. So here, once I click the refresh, here it shows me all of my ledger accounts, okay? Again, ledgers, for my previous class, they have an idea of what the ledger is. For those who are going into my accounting class, you will know what a ledger is, okay? So a ledger is basically a list of all of your accounts with their associated account balances, okay? So when we go to our chart of accounts, that pretty much right there is also pretty much a snapshot or a screenshot of your general ledger, okay? So you're gonna have the account balances on the right side, in the right column, at any and all given times. But in this case, here we're just showing you what it is for this specific date, and we're running a report based on these days. Okay, so that's the difference between looking at the chart of accounts, and here it's looking at differently here at a report. So this one, it lets you choose the date that you want to look at, so you can see what your account balances is as of that day. And it lets you know, like, oh, okay, well, I wrote a check this day. I wrote a check here, and I wrote a check there. Okay? So it does give you each account in order of how your chart of accounts is set up. So here, this is my checking account, right? Here is my money market, and here's my undeposited funds. So I actually do get this little section here. And if you just keep going, again, every single account is going to be listed with their respective account balances. Okay, so that is what a general ledger does for you. All right, and then the next thing that it wants me to show you is going to be the trial balance. Now, when we move into accounting, it is recommended for you to do a trial balance, because what a trial balance allows you to do is it allows you to make sure that your debits match your credits. Okay, so wherever you're going, it just makes sure that when you're reporting your accounting, that it is correct and that they are balanced at the end of the day. So what does that even mean? It's basically, so when we're looking at the accounting model, so for every journal entry or for every transaction that you've recorded into QuickBooks, it's going to do the accounting in the background. So when you do your trial balance, you can make sure that you did your accounting correctly. All right. So again, we're gonna go to reports. I think it's we're gonna go to reports, and it's going to be accounting and taxes. And again, it's going to be here at the trial balance right here. So here, if I were to toggle the date again to January 2019. And also here to January 2019. Oops, one more.
2018 selected.
Oh, I do? Okay. 2019, 31. Okay, so here. There you go. Okay. And then we click refresh. And then here, this is what our trial balance looks like. Again, it's going to list all of your debits and it's going to list all of your credits. So for example, all assets, right? If you look at the accounting model, it's going to say that it normally has a debit balance, okay? All liabilities normally have a credit balance, as in it increases with credits. So this gives you a little screenshot of exactly making sure that all of your debits match all of your credits. Okay? Now, if you have read the book, you're also going to know every time you do a transaction, QuickBooks will not let you record a transaction if the debits and credits do not match. Okay? So, for example, when you enter a journal entry, which we will do in chapter 13, you'll understand why you have to, when you enter in an amount, you need to have an equal and opposite amount to it as well, okay? And we'll be looking at what a debit and credit is on chapter 13. Now, and then another thing is when we are also doing things such as entering our bills, it's already going to populate for us. So there's not much that we can do. The only thing that we have in control is when we either pay the bill, are we paying all of it, or are we paying a portion of it? That is what's that's the only thing that you can actually change enough to not be able to match your debits and credits. All right. Other than that, so this is exactly a little small shot of all of your accounts, okay? And it has their account balances as well, but you want to make sure that the way that it's organized, that it allows you to view it and make sure that all the debits and all the credits match 100%. Okay? So once after that, we're going to be moving into what hold on, voided deleted transactions report. Again, this is for more if you have deleted or voided stuff. Again, QuickBooks does recommend you not. I mean, they said that you can delete all their stuff, but for us as a company and a company standpoint, it's highly recommended not to delete anything. Voiding, you want to make sure that you're going to void something within reason, but generally we want to steer clear from deleting and voiding stuff. But I do want to be able to show record of how to get to my deleted and voided stuff. So for here, let me see, how do I get there? Okay, so let me see. The voided and deleted reports. Okay, so let me see, how do I get there? You're going to go to the reports item in this. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna assume it should be in company and financials. It doesn't say.
Reports and then account and taxes of the
So-
report menu.
Okay, so it is the same place. Okay, so reports, accounting and taxes, and here voided, and right here voided and deleted items. So here, again, I need to toggle the date because I need to know, did I delete something in the month of January of 2019? And I'm gonna do it for the whole year, okay? So that I can see if I've done, because 1 month is a really difficult measurement, right? Because you know you may not have deleted something that month, but I'm gonna go ahead and select it for December of 2019 and see what I get here and refresh. So here I show that I have no voided and no deletions at all in my entire book, which is good because again, you want to try to steer clear and avoid deleting anything in your QuickBooks. Okay. So here my I show 0. Okay, but it is, you do go to reports and it's under account and taxes. Okay. And then that should be it. Now we're going to be moving into business management reports. So again, this is for more reports that that either your profit managers or your sales representatives, they are able to look at and be able to plan forth exactly what you need to do for the company to either improve or to enhance the quality of their service, right? So this is what this is a few things that they really ask you to do. It's more like, how do you look at customer phone lists, customer reports? So anything that has to do with a customer or a vendor, usually that would be precisely where what they're aiming for. So in this case, you'd be able to go to reports. Actually, let me see where that contact list is actually. So you're gonna go to the report center, select list, and then double click the vendor contact list. So that is that one. And then for this one, it's the same thing, list, and okay, so let's go ahead and view it here. So they say you got to go to the report center, and then once you get here, you're going to look here on the left for list. So here, and here I have either my customer phone number list. I also have my vendors contact list here. I also have other things. So I have just phone numbers if I just only want the phone numbers, or I want the whole contact list with their mailing address, their information, as whatever it is that you are looking for. Okay, so I have all of those types of forms here. I even have employees in case I need to contact them or I need to send a massive email. You'd be able to go ahead and look at that. Okay, so there you go. And then you can also look at your accounts list too, if you want if you want to print out and try to find and eliminate a few things. So you can go ahead and print a hard copy of your accounts in a list. You're able to do that also to your item price list. So items that you sell, if you need to modify them, this is where you would go and do that. And then here is your items list too. So all the things that you sell or all the taxes that you've created, you can also print the list out there too. So that is pretty much what, again, you can do for these business management reports. Again, you know, it just depends on what you're actually needing to plan forth for. So example, my price list, you know, let's say, you know, the economy has risen, right? Therefore, you also need to also rise your prices too. And by doing that, you can go ahead and print your price list and be able to adjust your prices there. And again, each one is pretty straightforward as far as click and looking at what you're looking for. So all of these, again, they're the same thing. All you need to do is just make sure what category they belong into. And of course, you are more than welcome to be able to look at every single report that QuickBooks has to offer. These ones are just outlining the more important ones or things that they want you to be able to look at. But in this case, I'm going to skip all of it because if you can look up and open one report, you can open all of them. There's nothing that you need to add in there or there's nothing that you need to add or to do to create these reports. It's pretty standard and they actually all look the same. If not, they all look pretty much the same every time you open a report. So I'm going to go ahead and skip all of that. Okay, if you have any questions about it, I mean, your best bet would be just to go ahead and read the book and understand each significance and importance for each report. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to be introducing into graphs. This is one of my actually favorite parts. Is the great thing and the cool thing about graphs is you're actually able to produce them on a report in QuickBooks. So if you guys remember very vaguely, when we're in our reports and stuff, and if we tap in the very first one, if we scrolled all the way down at the bottom, you're going to see that here, you're able to give a little screenshot and a little snapshot of what this report is going to entail. Oh, I think I'm not. Yeah. So here, do I want a bar graph? Do I want a pie chart and a bar graph? So it's cool what you can do when it comes to these kind of activities. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you an example of the one that's in your book. So here it's asking you to do this. So from the report center, select company and financials, and then double click on income and expense graphs in the income and expense section. Okay. Then we're going to click dates on there to be on the graph. And let me see. Let's see when do we need to adjust it for January 2019 to January 31st of 2019. All right. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and look at that graph. So here we are going to go to, was it company and financials? I think I was just there. So we're going to look at income and expenses. So here, income and expenses graph. I'm going to go ahead and run the report. And then again, let's say I forgot to even enter the date. You can always, oh, okay, for this reason, okay, for some reason it's not here. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this. That is very weird. Usually you should be able to toggle the date at the top. But in this case, I'm going to go ahead and toggle it down here where it says right underneath the report. I am going to do, we wanted January of 2019. And we want this date to be January 31st, 2018. Okay? And then dates is going to be custom, and then I'm going to go ahead and click run. So now I can see that this is what's going to happen here. I have a nice little bar graph and a little pie chart here. And yeah, and if you notice the information, it will tell you what you need to know. So in this case, for my majority of my expenses, right, is going to be rent. Yes, so rent is a big chunk of my expenses. Okay, and here I can go ahead and look at the rest of my expenses, but here that's a lot of money for rent, and it's a big chunk. And let's go ahead and read on what it says to continue. So it's going to double click on any of part of the graph to see more details. Okay. So, whoa, I have no idea what happened, but there you go. I have no idea what the heck that is. But if we were to double click as it says, it should give you more details about the graph. All right. So I'm just only seeing the same thing that happened here. Again, I'm thinking it's giving you a little more detail. So here it shows that most of our revenues does come from our services. It doesn't primarily come from our products that we sell, which it makes sense because for Academy Photography, right? Our primary thing is we're providing services. We're providing photo shoots, right? We are on an hour-to-hour basis photo shoot, and we only sell for complimentary bundle packages. We can sell either the photo paper to you. We can sell the actually not the photo paper. We can sell the frame for you. We can also yeah, I think that's the only thing that you can purchase from the store is just the frame. But other than that, we have retouching services. We have the actual photo shoot services. So for most of our business, right? It's right. We're primarily services. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and close this window again. And what if I wanted to see my expenses? Here it's going to show me that this does, okay, well, this is a bar graph. It doesn't really tell me too much except for my cost of goods sold is this much. So I think because I selected a section of it, if I were to click the expense, the rent expense, it should show me just that rent expense and how much it cost me. So, yes. All right. So that is what you can do for graphs, and you can customize them however you want. And yes. All right. So that is an example of how you can draw out your graph and whatnot. So that's the cool nifty feature about things. Obviously, the one thing that you can't do is you can't manipulate the information for it to create a different pie chart or a different bar graph or a different line graph. So for whatever it is that you want to do, you want to make sure that once you've done your reports, you do attach these so then it's like a visual. It enhances your reports visually. So, and it also gets straight to the point. Okay. So that is going to be the graph section. Okay, so let me see if we're good on time. So, okay, so the next section I do want to show you is you are actually able to create customized reports. Okay. So if you don't like any of the standard forms or standard reports, or it's missing information, or it's too much information, you are able to edit the reports and customize it in a way that makes sense for your company. So so in this case, let me go ahead and see how we can get started as far as this one. So we're gonna go to for the information that you want. Okay, so we're gonna go to modify reports window and displays when you click on the customize reports button. So again, let's say do they give you an example which one they want to customize? Let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and customize my I'm going to go ahead and let me see. Let's go to sales. We could do sales. Let's do no. That's the I'm trying to find one that has a lot of columns. We do sales graph. Let's do sales by item summary. Okay. Again, I'm going to toggle the date here to make sure that it is on January of 2019. And to January 31st of 2018. Okay, so then we go ahead and run the report. Now, this is what the report looks like. And if I don't like any of the information I'm looking in and I just want to know the specifics of each, let's say I don't want to see what my profit of sales is, I can go ahead and go up to the top and click customize reports here. All right. And what's going to happen is it's going to pop up this window here, which is the modify your reports window. So this is where I can choose if I don't want a column, if I don't like the color of it. This is where I can go ahead and make these changes. So for the first one, I want to see what is displaying. Okay. Do I want to see the date? Yeah, that's fair. I do want to see the date, but I want it to be customized that I only want a specific month. Okay. Next thing it's going to ask you is report basis. Do you want it accrual basis or cash basis? So again, if you can toggle it here as well instead of going to edit preferences and changing your reports to be accrual or cash basis. You can go ahead and individualize what you want to see. So let's say, for example, I don't want to see all my sales. I want to see which ones were cash sales, things that I've collected cash for. Okay. And then the next question is going to ask you for the columns. Well, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the cost of goods sold? Do you want to see, I don't want to see average cost of goods sold, but, I don't also want to see my gross profit margin either. I just want gross margin, and I want to see my percentage, not the actual number. Okay, so that is what I want to see when it comes to data. Okay, the next section is filters. Okay, so what you can do in filters is, let's see, you can choose filters if you want to apply one. Again, it's what you want to do. In this case, I do not want to apply any filters on my reports. Next thing it's going to ask you is going to be, how do you want your header and your footer to be? So this is more stylistic forms. You want to change fonts. You definitely want the company name to be there. You want the report title, and you want a subtitle to it. Obviously the date. Time prepared. I don't think that's necessary. I just need the date for sure to be there. But time doesn't really matter to me. And report basis. Yes, that would be nice if I could have my report basis. So cash basis, I want to make sure that I recognize this and nothing doesn't look weird if I know that it's cash basis. And then print header on paper after first page. So this is saying, so after, if your report is more than one page, do you want to print the same exact header on the second page? And yes, I would like to keep all my papers with their respective headers. Now it's going to ask us for footer information. So you want the page number, of course, extra footer lines, and print footer on the first page. No, I don't want my footers to be on there, but I do want my page numbers to be at the bottom or of my footer. All right, once you've done that, now we can go ahead and edit fonts and numbers. So here we can choose our fonts for our company, our column labels, as well as the rows. So if I want to customize if I want to change the font for it, I can go ahead and click change font right here. And then what's going to happen is it's going to make it look a little different. So let's say for here, we want the column labels. I don't want the column labels to be changed. I want the company name to be changed. And let's say, here's the example of what it looks like. I don't like that font. So I'm going to go ahead and change it. And I'm going to say, let's see if they have it. We could do Castellar. That looks pretty cool, right? And then I want it bold. And let's say I want it to be the biggest thing on there. So I'm going to make it size 16. And guess what? I can choose the color for it. I don't want navy. I want it to be like a nice maroon color. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and click OK. Oh, wrong one. I'm going to click OK. And yes. So here it's going to show like this on my actual report now. All of these, do you want to show all of your account numbers? I'm going to say no, except for zero balances. So if there's nothing in there, I don't want that to show up on there. And then let's see. And then I just want it to be normal. I don't need negative numbers. I'm gonna just keep it as normal. All right, so now that I've customized my entire thing, I'm gonna click OK, and what's gonna happen is, look, it changed my whole heading. I changed some of the columns, so I don't have all of it, and that is what I want. I want it to look just like this, okay? So after that, once you've created your format and and customize your report, you can also memorize this report. So what does it mean to memorize? If you memorize this report, what's going to happen is it's going to show up this little small dialog box, and it wants to know it wants to know what you want to title it. I'm going to go ahead and do sales by item summary, and I'm going to write AP style. Okay, so I make it so then it's like I customize the name so then when I ever need to use the same exact report again, I just click on that and it should appear everything, all the customizations I did to it is going to be saved into that actual report. So then when I do create this memorized report, it's going to again create the same report with the same settings that I just created. So I'm gonna click OK. Start this report template with others. I just only want it specifically for this one. So I'm gonna click OK. So once I've done that, you again, you're able to when you're creating your reports, you're able to have the same exact font and everything saved on here. Okay. And I think that's it. That's as far as it. Now, let's see. All right. Let's go ahead and look and see what else we have in the book that can be taught. So we just went over the things that you can customize for the file, and yes. Okay, so memorizing reports. Okay, again, I just showed you how to memorize it. Okay. In the memorize reports window, the name of the reports. Okay. So we just did this right now. We created the memorized reports and we named it, and we went ahead and select OK. You can create group reports if you wanted to. Let me see. And viewing memorized reports as well. It was what I was going to go to. Okay, so here you're going to go to from the reports center. Click on the memorized tab at the top of the window. Okay. So again, we're going to go to the reports center. And it says to go to the memorized tab at the top of the window. So here, as you can see, I've only created for just the company. I've only created, sorry, a little confused. So what was it that I had? I think I put it under sales, was it? Customers. So here, AP aging summary. That's not it. Sales. Where did I put it? Let me check my recents. Okay, well, I can't find my memorized reports, but it should be in this list because all of this list right here are things that you've already customized beforehand. So these are These are preset forms that were already memorized. But I'm trying to look for my sales by AP. And I do not see it. But it should be here for everyone that you actually customize and memorize your reports. It should be in this folder right here. Okay. So, or maybe let me see if it's uncategorized. Yes, it's uncategorized. It's right here. Sales by item summary AP style. So if I were to run this report again, it's going to show me the exact thing I created, and it's already customized and everything is to perfection. All right, exactly how I want it. All right. And I think that's the last thing I'm going to teach you for today. So again, we are good on time. So I do want you to make sure that you go ahead and finish up reading the multiple reports thing. Again, if you could do one, you can do all of them. And then printing reports. Again, all reports have the print button at the top of the window, so that should be pretty straightforward. Okay. And then let me see, finding transactions. Using the find button. So again, you are able to, I'm going to have you guys read that, to find the transactions using the back and forward button. Quick reports. Ooh, that is something I need to talk to you about. So do you guys remember when we were talking about the difference between permanent accounts and temporary accounts? So let's go ahead and go to your chart of accounts real quick so I can go ahead and explain further. So again, your permanent accounts is going to be your assets, liabilities, and your equity, right? Your temporary accounts is going to be your income and your expenses. Now, the difference that you can tell for this one is going to be that for every single asset, liability, and equity account, you will be getting a register, okay? What does that mean? You're going to have a balance at the end on here on the right side is your balance right here, okay? And every time you double click it, it will open up a register just like this, okay? Now, that is what a register is, and those are for permanent accounts. Now, if we scroll down and we move along into our expenses and our income, we notice that there is no account balances, okay? And why is that? Is because these balances, right? The reason why they're temporary is because they close at the end of a given period, okay? But what you can also make the difference is that only income and only expenses have quick reports. So again, if I double tap it, it's going to show me a quick report of everything that happened in that section. Okay, well, I did a bad example. Let me go ahead and click cost of goods sold. Okay, again, nothing there, but let me see. I want not this physical year. I want all the dates. To be more specific, I want it in, let me see, January 2019. Okay, because I made sales there. And I want to make sure that it's January 31st down here. And then I'm going to go ahead and click refresh. So here is a quick report. A quick report basically is, in other words, a summary of the entire account, okay? And you can toggle it for this specific date that you want it for, okay? All right, so, okay, so again, assets, liabilities, and equity have registers, okay? They are also your permanent accounts. They never close at the end of the period. Where your income and your expenses, they close at the end of the period, and they're called temporary accounts, and they also have quick reports instead of registers, okay? So, yeah, and that should be all. So I'm going to go ahead and have you guys read the rest of the book if there is more details onto it. I just want to make sure that we have time for the review. So I'm going to go ahead and skip forward to the review questions. Okay. All right. Is everyone ready? So let's go ahead and do the review questions number 1. Okay. What are the two major types of reports in QuickBooks? Is it A, register and list, B, monthly and annually, C, accounting and business management, or is it D, balance sheet and profit and loss?
Would it be
Is it
C,
D?
accounting and business management?
Yes, it is. No, 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 no. Alexandria, was that you that said D?
Yeah, me and someone else. It's me. Is it D?
It is not D. These two are two types of accounting reports. Okay, so the question is asking what are the two major categories of choices that you can look into when we're looking into the types of reports. You can do accounting reports and business management reports. Okay, so again, go back to I think it's page 164. I want to say it's 164. But if not, it should be like the first 2 pages into the actual lecture for chapter 6. Okay, so yes, C is correct. All right, number 2, use the customized reports button on any report to either A, add or delete columns, or change the accounting basis. B, change the width of the column and of the report. C, print the report on a blank piece of paper. Or D, memorize the report for future use. All right. When you're using the customize reports button on any report, that's a weird question. It should ask you why, but yes.
Wouldn't it be D, because you're wanting to memorize it, your custom report, or no?
Okay, so where do you find that memorize reports? Where do you find that button?
Under customize?
Not under customize. So let's go ahead and look at our window again. So where are my reports? Feedback, get reports. Okay, so for example, if I were to select a random report, right? What do you see at the top of this? You see customized reports and you see memorized reports. So one key thing that you need to know is you need to customize your report first in order for you to memorize the report. Okay?
So then it's not memorized.
So no, it's not memorized. Okay?
A?
So it is A. Yes, you would use the customized reports to add or delete columns or to make any changes to the report. Okay, so A is correct. Number 3, you cannot create a QuickBooks a quick report for A,
D.
customers. Okay, D is correct. Yes, incorrectly posted entries. Yes, you cannot create a quick report for that. Yes, you can do it for customers, vendors, and items. Yes. Good. All right, question number 4. To create a report that lists each of your vendors along with their address and telephone number, what report is that?
A?
A, let's see. Yes, display the vendor contact list is correct. Yes. That one's a pretty easy, straightforward one. All right, lastly, number 5. In order to analyze the profitability of your company, you should only do, okay, the answer is, wait, who said B?
Julie.
Julie. Yes. Yes. That is the straightforward one because it's in its title. You want to look for profitability. You definitely want to do a profit and loss report. Good. Okay, so guys, it is 9:37, so I'm going to call it at 9:40. Please be back in 15 minutes. So what is that? 5 minutes before 10? And then we're going to go ahead and review for the certification test / exam.